Breaking, Congress just called for criminal investigation. They found everything by Kara Curry for RWNofficial.com. The feud has been simmering on a low boil for months between Congress and the Justice Department has finally boiled over, erupting into a full-fledged cage match this week. Many people believe this could be the House Intelligence Committee is closing in and the noose is ever tightening. Most recently, 11 members of Congress are now yet again sending a signed letter to Attorney General Jeff Sessions, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and U.S. Attorney John Huber, asking them yet again to conduct a criminal investigation into multiple members of the Obama administration. The letter specifically demands a criminal investigation be launched into the conduct and actions of former FBI Director James Comey, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, and anti-Trump FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Lawmakers wrote in a letter released by Representative Ron DeSantis, in doing so, we are especially mindful of the dissimilar degrees of zealousness that have marked the investigations into former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the presidential campaign of Donald Trump. Those in position of high authority should be treated the same as every other American, the lawmakers stated, while also insisted that any violations of law need to be vetted appropriately. The lawmakers argue that Comey mishandled a criminal investigation into Hillary over her use of a private email server, claiming that the investigation was motivated by a political agenda. Subpoenas and various demands for information continue to go back and forth, and until this week, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and his subordinates at the department fought the continued congressional demands for information with the tools of banal bureaucracy: resist, delay, ignore, negotiate. Yet Rosenstein decided to kick it up a notch by recently accusing House Republicans of threat, extortion, and wanting to rummage through department documents. Meanwhile, the New York Times is dropping stories with the usual anonymous sources with new accusations claiming Mr. Rosenstein and top FBI officials have come to suspect that some lawmakers were using their oversight authority to gain intelligence about Special Counsel Mueller's investigation so that it could be shared with the White House. Yet, clearly Rosenstein is not worried in the slightest about rummaging. He is simply diverting attention from the Bureau's concern with the exact opposite conversation, in that the FBI is being required to comply with very specific and revealing, along with potentially damaging demands. Justice Department was recently delivered first a classified House Intelligence Committee letter and then a subpoena demanding documents related to a new line of inquiry about the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Trump investigation. The deadline for complying with the subpoena was Thursday afternoon, and the Justice Department flouted it. As the White House is undoubtedly monitoring any new congressional demands for information, it is likely that President Trump's tweet Wednesday ripping the department for not turning over documents was in part a reference to this latest demand. Memos from May 2017 show Rosenstein throwing Comey under the bus, slamming Comey for making serious mistakes throughout the course of the investigation. Almost everyone agrees that the director made serious mistakes. It is one of the few issues that unites people of diverse perspectives, Rosenstein wrote. The way Comey handled the conclusion of the email investigation was wrong. Really? Now there's a surprise. Yet Comey has thrown former President Obama and his Attorney General Loretta Lynch under the bus, claiming they jeopardized the Hillary Clinton email investigation. In his book, A Higher Loyalty, Comey defends the FBI investigators who were charged with investigating Hillary's private email server and her mishandling of classified information. I never heard anyone on our team, not one, take a position that seemed driven by their personal political motivations, and more than that, I never heard an argument or observation I thought came from a political bias. Never, Comey writes in his book. Instead, we debated, argued, listened, reflected, agonized, played devil's advocate, and even found opportunities to laugh as we hashed out our major decisions. Nick Short's tweet there from April 18th, letter from DeSantis and other lawmakers to Sessions, Wray, and Uber, referring Comey, Clinton, McCabe, and Lynch, Lisa Page, and Peter Strzok for investigation of potential violations of federal statute. And he shows the letter that they sent there. And it's a whole big, long letter. You can read that on your own if you'd like, because we'll be here till tomorrow. Comey stated of Obama, contributing to this problem, regrettably, was President Obama. So they're throwing each other under the bus, in other words, yeah. He had jeopardized the Department of Justice credibility in the investigation by saying in a 60 Minutes interview on October 11, 2015, that Clinton emails use was a, quote, mistake that had not endangered national security. Then on Fox on April 10, 2016, he said that Clinton may have been careless but did not do anything to intentionally harm national security, suggesting that the case involved overclassification of material in the government. President Obama is a very smart man who understands the law very well. To this day, I don't know why he spoke about the case publicly and seemed to absolve her before a final determination was made. If the president had already decided the matter, an outside observer could reasonably wonder how on earth could his Department of Justice do anything other than follow his lead. Fox News alert, House Republicans call on AG Sessions to investigate Comey, Hillary, and other Justice Department officials, by Catherine Herridge. Comey said Obama's public statements about the investigation jeopardized the investigation's credibility in multiple interviews and seemed to absolve Hillary of any crime before FBI investigators completed their work. The truth was that the president, as far as I knew anyway, he had only as much information as anyone following in the media. He had not been briefed on our work at all, and if he was following the media, he was out playing golf while all this was taking place. And if he was following the media, he knew nothing because there had been no leaks at all up until that point. But his comments still set all of us up for corrosive attacks if the case were completed with no charges brought. Well, so Comey's trying to exonerate himself there by stating all of this. Both Obama and Lynch have condemned Comey's interpretation of the facts and for his accusations that she aligned the FBI's terminology on Hillary's email case with Democratic messaging. And we all know that that's took place. So Lynch is trying to get her butt out of it. Lynch responded with this scathing statement, I have known James Comey almost 30 years. Throughout his time as director, we spoke regularly about some of the most sensitive issues in law enforcement and national security. If he had any concerns regarding the email investigation, classified or not, he had ample opportunity to raise them with me both privately and in meetings. He never did. Yeah, because you threw him out of the office when he came to question you. You remember when Comey testified to that under oath to Congress when he said when he approached her she was rude to him and sort of brushed him off like don't go any further by asking me any more questions. So Miss Loretta Lynch, you are under the radar for a long time, and it's due time that you're held accountable, you know. So this is basically, from what I see, it's older news on this thing over here. But we'll take
Fox News Alert now. New calls on Capitol Hill to investigate former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, former FBI Director James Comey, and several other former high-ranking officials. Let's go outnumbered overtime. I'm Harris Faulkner. A group of 11 Republican lawmakers have written a letter to Attorney General Jeff Sessions, urging yet another criminal investigation in Washington and outlining a long list of allegations, including bias against President Trump. On top of the claims made against Hillary Clinton and James Comey, the letter points fingers at ex-Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, and former Acting Attorney General Sally Yates. For more on this developing story, let's bring in Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge, live from Washington. And I've got my phone. I've been going through all of these letters, and now the latest of them. There's a lot of material here.
That's right. There's been a lot of action this morning, Harris. And according to this new letter from 11 House Republicans to the Attorney General, FBI Director, and the U.S. Attorney who is handling requests for records for Congress, they're asking for a criminal investigation of at least 5 key players in the Clinton email and Russia investigations. On the former FBI Director James Comey, the lawmakers focus on his statements about recommending against criminal charges in the Clinton email case and his testimony about the decision. They allege there may be violations of federal statutes on lying and perjury. The allegations against Hillary Clinton relate to the funding of political opposition research that formed the basis of the Trump dossier. The lawmakers allege that payments to the firm Fusion GPS may constitute violations of election law and campaign contributions by foreign nationals. On former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, who was fired for lying about his role in a media leak about the Clinton Foundation, lawmakers allege possible violations on statutes about lying, perjury, as well as obstruction of justice. On FBI agent Peter Strzok and FBI lawyer Lisa Page, both removed by special counsel Robert Mueller from the Russia case after allegations of political bias, lawmakers question whether their actions that allegedly minimized the mishandling of classified information by Clinton and her team amount to obstruction and misleading statements by federal officers. This morning on ABC, Comey was asked about the letter, and he said he was not concerned about any legal exposure.
I know I'm doing a lot of shrugging today, but I haven't read it. I don't know what to make of it. It seems they've been saying that stuff since the Clinton email investigation. A whole lot of that's already being looked at by the Inspector General at the Department of Justice, which is a very good thing. And I don't have any other reaction.
We're reaching out to all of the individuals who are identified in the new letter. Just for some context on Andrew McCabe, when he was fired, his attorney said that that action was inappropriate and malicious and really without factual basis, Harris.
Well, as you can see, all this is being delayed by Jeff Sessions, bottom line. So why is it being delayed by Jeff Sessions? So they're asking now again and all this information, and Attorney General Sessions says, we don't want to hire a second special counsel just willy-nilly. Willy-nilly? You did a willy-nilly thing with Trump. You allowed that to happen with the Russian hoax. That Mueller has nothing. We have stacks and stacks of evidence against all these deep staters. And yet he says we don't want to hire a special second counsel just willy-nilly. And he put the delay on all of this. So what does that tell you? I mean, really? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.